Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Page, and we're here for another Tier List Tuesday in Blood Bowl 3. This time we're going to be ranking all of the agility skills on an S to F tier list. So let's see here. We're going to start off with a defensive. Defensive, new skill in Blood Bowl 3. What defensive does is it turns off your opponent's guard. So let's as a new skill, let's make sure I got this right. I can get there. There we go. Okay. Defensive. During the turn of your opponent, any player marked by this player cannot use the guard skill. So it plays out, I guess, defensively is the way to remember, like, on which turn it's turned off. It makes it harder for your opponent to attack you. Oh, I lost Twitch chat. Come back, Twitch chat. Where'd Twitch chat go? There you are. Yeah, so defensive is in a weird spot of it literally does nothing if your opponent doesn't have guard. But it's the case of Blood Bowl where teams end up with a lot of guard, the brawling teams, at higher team value. So I think defensive is an ability that definitely varies in value the higher your team value is. So I don't think it can possibly be S tier. I think we're going to have to make it like B tier, because I think it is really good at like 1.8, 2 million team value, up at those really high numbers. Defensive has a really good spot on letting you dominate the guard brawly type matches. So whether you're Dark Elves adding in some defensive later in your builds, or if you want to weave defensive in on your dwarf team or your orc team so that you can wreck the other orc teams, I think it's got a place, but you're never going to take defensive early because it's at a big risk of just literally doing nothing. Yeah, it seems great as a third or fourth skill. Yeah, I agree, Zanelli, which I think puts it B tier. I think it's like a build finisher rather than a build around or a build starter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point too, J-Leaf. Defensive is better on a piece that is 4 strength or 5 strength. Because by turning off your opponent's guard on their turn, that makes it harder for them to hit the defensive unit, the defensive guy. So it's better when you tie or outstrength your opponent's pieces. So against dwarves, defensive on a 3 strength is still fine, but if you have defensive against a chaos coach, they can always just hit you with their 4 strength stuff. So I think it's a good B. I think you'll see defensive picked a lot, especially on the better like finished teams. But I think it is high team value because you need your opponents to have a lot of guard, as well as late in the build because you kind of just want your own block and guard and stuff first. Like, I don't think anyone's going to take defensive before guard. I would be surprised if that ends up being right. So you're going to have block and guard and possibly dodge before you would ever think of defensive. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being like a cool way to build a Chaos Warrior or a Biggin on an Orc team to have a little bit of an early defensive in there. So yeah, we'll go with B tier. I think it's got potential. It's going to get picked, but it's a much later build. Leap. Poor Leap got nerfed coming into Blood Bowl 3. Leap. Let's go back to the client here. So Leap now reads, this player can jump over any square during his movement allowance, including a square occupied by a standing player. Moreover, it reduces any agility penalty by 1 for any attempt at jumping to a minimum of -1. So it's worded weirdly because jumping is just part of the game now. You can leap over prone players with anybody, and that's just an agility check, the same as dodging. So if you have the leap skill, you're basically getting +1 to that attempt. Like, you get to ignore one of the tackle zones, but that's the big difference, is leap is now affected by tackle zones, where the old leap in Blood Bowl 2 wasn't. So leap is kind of, it's kind of awful. Is it just like F tier? Or is it E tier? Am I ever going to actually pick leap ever? And am I ever going to be happy I hit it randomly? I don't think so. I think that means it's F tier. Even like for cage breaking now. If you random a very long legs, maybe you end up with leap. Yeah, because very long legs gives you +1 on your leap, right? Jaylee, you think leap is the worst addable skill in the game? It does seem like I don't even know when you would use it. Like it's one better than dodging, so you're only using it to like clear over a wall. Is it good on a one-turner? I think extra head and break tackle would be better on a one-turner. So if you can't mutate, is leap possibly the way to end a one-turn? Oh, probably not. Very long legs and leap into 3 tackle zones is okay for cage diving. So the leap, so like if you're an elf, so 3 tackle zones is now a 2+, 3+, 4+, 5+? No, 4. Yeah, it's a 5+ for an elf to go into that cage. So if you leap instead, it's a 4+, and if you have very long legs, it's a 3+. That doesn't seem worth building. F tier for leap. F tier for leap, I think. A gutter runner with very long legs and leap is the same as a war dancer leap. Yeah, but you had to take very long legs. Right? That's a big price. It does match the old war dancer leap into 3 tackle zones. And if you're leaping into 2 tackle zones, it's better. Yeah, I think there are worse ones, Jayleave, but there's room down in F tier for multiple skills. I think it's still F tier. Yeah. Like Electric Vision said, if you have access to very long legs, then you might as well just take dodge and 2 hits. Yeah, I think leap is an F tier. I'd be very surprised if anyone actually impressed me with a leap piece. Diving tackle, though. I love diving tackle. I love me some diving tackle. And it's even bugged right now that it doesn't lay your guy prone. if they escape you, you don't lie prone. I think diving tackle is probably an A tier. I think it's similar to defensive, so maybe it is B tier in like a B for build around, where I don't think you want an early diving tackle, but if you have block, dodge, sidestep, finishing that build off with diving tackle gives you a really sticky threat. Like you knock a cage quarter off of the ball carrier, and then you stick your diving tackler in there, and they get to like try to blitz them. But if they can't knock down your blodge and they're forced to dodge away, you really don't want to dodge away from diving tackle. I think it's better. Do you think it's better than defensive? I like it better than defensive. But I was kind of ranking it the same as defensive for my own bias. I think, yeah, I'm gonna put diving tackle up to A tier. This is the Mr. Page tier list. I like it better than defensive. I think they're both pretty close, but I'm a big fan of the sticky player. Just that angle of playing Blood Bowl. Of trying to harass the ball carrier and just use your blodge step to not get knocked off the ball and then give him a very hard time. Are bugs part of the tiering system? I think it's for Blood Bowl 3. So bugs in Blood Bowl are weird. Like a lot of Blood Bowl 2 bugs were just kind of part of the game. Like they just don't ever get fixed. So like the diving tackle bug, and to be clear, the bug isn't general use for diving tackle. Like if they dodge away from you and roll a 4, and you use diving tackle to make that fail, and then they re-roll and roll a 1 and they still failed, your guy does go prone to trigger the diving tackle. It's when the re-roll rolls a 6 and they escape, that's when your guy isn't put prone and you're supposed to be. So you get it slightly better when you failed. But that bug might literally never get fixed. So I think you should build your tier lists. You should evaluate it on the current state. It's like pre-ordering games or buying games early on. Like you buy what you're getting. Don't buy an early access game for the promise of what it could be. Because it might never change. And that's true of bugs like Diving Tackle. Especially where it's so like rare to trigger and in such a weird case, and it has the ability for people to kind of shrug and be like, I guess that's how it's supposed to work. It might stick around for a while. But yeah, A tier for Diving Tackle. I think kind of ignoring the bug. I don't even think the bug matters for that. It's so minor. All right, catch. Have I ever seen somebody take catch and thought they made the right pick? I've seen that happen on a goblin. I've seen goblin coaches advocate for having a catch guy, so you can do handoff advancement plays, not for passing, but for handing off. But that's pretty rare. I think catch is down in D tier. I think catch you get for free. Like players of the position called catcher often just get it for free. It is a really nice bonus, but I don't think it's ever really right to pick it. If you random into it, I don't think you should random agility. We're going to get there, but I think a lot of agility skills are going to end up near the bottom, meaning you don't really want to random them. I think D for catch. Don't buy an early access game for what it is, not what it might be. It might not be the best thing to say on a Blood Bowl 3 stream. Yep. I will put out that Blood Bowl 3 is not early access, though. Don't buy a preseason game for what it might be. I have high hopes for next month when season 1 comes out, but we'll see. We will see. I know a lot of people haven't bought yet. They're actually waiting. All right, Sure Feet. Sure Feet actually a lot better than catch. People do pick Sure Feet, mostly on one-turners. I've seen some people like the go for it skills, or rush skills as they're called now. Sure Feet and Sprint, kind of a package deal. I've seen some people advocate taking these just on random stuff, but the most common use is on whoever you plan to one-turn with. And I think that puts them pretty much B tier, like even with defensive. They're like build around kind of skills. Whether you're building a one-turning piece or if you really value that extra movement. Sparrow, you like C for Sprint? And I think Sprint and Sure Feet are going to get matched up. They're kind of a package deal. Yeah, maybe C? Yeah, maybe C, actually. I don't know. They do feel like they're kind of on par with defensive. Yeah, maybe defensive we're going to see a lot more. Like it will be at higher team values, but I think defensive at higher team values jumps up to A. So it's kind of okay to have them on the even tier. But you guys might be right. I think, like, I personally barely ever, if ever, pick these, even on what I like to one-turn with. If you were random, you'd be happier with Sure Feet than Sprint. That's true. We could break them up. They do go as a pair, but we could break them up. Like, Sprint itself, letting you roll a third dice for a third movement, that is rough without the Sure Feet reroll. Of course, the fact that you can reroll, use your team rerolls on multiple events does make Sprint better. Skinks, Sure Feet, Sprint? Yeah. No Skinks in Blood Bowl 3, yo. But I think Jason's got a good point there that when you're randoming Sure Feet, I would be happier with Sure Feet. So I'm actually happy to break their tier up. They're both like kind of in the middle, but I think Sure Feet is a little better than Sprint. If you're building a one turn and you do it the opposite, you want Sprint first because you need less pushes. So they are closer in that sense, where I think that's the most valid use. Yeah, I'm going to leave them like this. I think if you're randoming in general, Sure Feet's better, but in practice, if you're building a one-turner, Sprint is better, so I think it catches up. Yeah, that's true too. The fact that you really only want one-turner, if any. Yeah. I think I'm okay putting them at C. Safe pair of hands, another new one. Let's go back to the client and read safe pair of hands. Safe pair of hands. If this player is knocked down or becomes prone while carrying the ball, you may place the later in an adjacent square. Well, that's wonderful English. This game may still be used if the player is prone. That's another worthless sentence. Makes it comply with the rules, but... excuse me. Yeah, so basically, in English terms, safe pair of hands lets you pick which square the ball drops to. So if your safe pair of hands guy gets knocked down, then you get to smash. That's just not very good, is it? I haven't actually played. I've not triggered it yet. I don't even know what the interface looks like for it. Oh, it has to be on your ball carrier. So like randoming it on anything other than the ball carrier sucks. Oh, it's gotta be as bad as Leap. I think the Imperial Nobility, you start with it. I wonder if it's reasonable on them. I think the bottom line is it's got to go F tier because you're never picking it on a ball carrier. Ball carrier skills you want before it are block, dodge, sure hands. For sure. Probably sidestep. It actually, realistically, stats. Ball carriers in Blood Bowl 3 love stats. So why would you ever take this over a stat? I guess if you're in like a league situation or something where you get to pick, like you're not allowed to, like a tournament where you're building a team with some such rules, like you get to add 3 agility skills to your team or whatever. Is safe pair of hands ever going to be good on a ball carrier? I don't think so. In any tournament setup I've seen, you only get to add like 1 skill per player, so you'd never get down to safe pair of hands. I think it's just F tier. But if you do have it, like on Imperial Nobility, so forget the fact that you never pick it. Is it actually any good on Imperial Nobility? So you get sacked, and you get to pick the open square to drop the ball to. That's pretty powerful. That actually is not bad, but I mean, you already got sacked, so you're making a horrible situation reasonably not bad? I don't know. Is it the Renegade throw that starts with it? Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, the nobility guy starts with a running pass. The Renegade starts with safe pair of hands. I think you might be right. I haven't played a ton of either of the teams, but yeah, it's just simply F tier because you never pick it. There's better things for your ball carrier, and it's only fixing a bad case, kind of like dump off in that sense. Yeah, it's just F tier. If you're playing in a random league and you ended up with it, I don't think you're... Is it as worthless as Leap? If you like, okay, let's say you're playing an elf team in a league that's all random skills, and you random it. So then you're like, oh, okay, I guess this guy's the ball carrier now. Is that better than Leap? Actually, I don't know if it is, because Leap has some mild utility too. Oh, J-Leave, you knocked somebody down who had it once. It might actually be bugged and not trigger. I mean, the fact that myself and everyone in chat, we can't remember ever seeing it triggered. Well, actually, you just said that, J-Leave. So if anyone in chat could say if they've actually gotten to use this skill, let me know. If anyone has actually ever seen it, maybe I'll move it up to E, but... Yeah, I think I think it belongs down in F tier. That's fine. On the opposite end, though, we have dodge. Easy S tier for dodge. Like, one of the best skills in the game. Dodge lets you reroll a dodge that you fail for free, and also it lets you ignore one of the attack dice.
I'm digging a hole.
Hey, J Hoodie. So the defender stumbles attack dice just turns into a push against you, and you have dodge. So it's both a defensive skill and a reroll preservation skill. Dodge is just ridiculously good. Unfortunately, tackle's in the game. Tackle's entire text is dodge doesn't work. So dodge does get throttled back by tackle. If there was no tackle in the game, dodge would be absurd. Dodge the lay all the dwarves have tackle. I don't think you see dwarves very often though. Like, I'm playing dwarves right now, but I'm also playing them at low team value. Like, I think by the time you get your elf team up to like a significant amount of dodge, you just don't encounter dwarves anymore. Like, if you're at 1.6 million elves and you have 10 dodge on your team, dwarves are no longer a prominent part of the metagame. Now, at that point, hopefully your opponents have a tackle or two they've added to their non-dwarf team, but a tackle or two can still get overwhelmed by a buttload of dodge. Yeah, they take tackle so they can kind of, on their blitz, still attack somebody, but you're still benefiting from your dodge spam. By being able to run away from them much more easily. And also by, when the time comes to, like, base everybody, like... You kill 3 or 4 turns, and then you're on turn 6, and they need to start pushing to get their touchdown. You just take all your elves and slam them next to random chaos opponents. On that turn, you're happy to have dodge / blodge on everybody. A lot less elves die. And sure, their 2 or 3 tacklers get to have a field day, but all of the other guys are sad. And there's so few elves in the metagame.
Don't worry, I won't let you down.
Hey,
I'll be the best little capitalist piglet princess you've ever had.
Yeah, there's so few elf teams in the metagame. I think a lot of people are going to be neglecting tackle at the moment. So when we hit season 1 and there's hopefully a better system in Blood Bowl, who knows what that metagame will look like, but in the current ladder grind, there's not a lot of elves. Meaning that you're incentivized to not take that much tackle on your orcs. Meaning that the elves are even better. When are we going to grant the subathon title? I'm going to get, I started coding, but the prerequisite for me to grant the subathon title is getting the program updated. Because I don't want to spam chat. When a subathon title gets granted, like a ton of people are going to have it. So I don't want the bot spamming chat. I just want it to slide up on the screen. So hopefully this week. Yeah, you should still see at least one tackle on every team. I agree with that. Yeah, it's dodge is still S tier, even though it can get turned off by tackle. Sneaky Get next. Sneaky Get, I think, is also S tier. Sneaky Get, the surprise all-star of Blood Bowl 3. So ridiculously good. Super buffed compared to Blood Bowl 2. In Blood Bowl 2, Sneaky Get was, you cannot get thrown out from fouling. You'll never get caught unless you break armor. So if you rolled Snake Eyes double ones, you wouldn't get thrown out when you're fouling. That got upgraded in Blood Bowl 3 to the armor roll will never get you thrown out, which is strictly better than the old phrasing. But now if you roll double 6s on the armor roll and then like a 3 and a 4 on the injury, you're still not caught. So the armor roll is just always a freebie for getting thrown out. But the bigger, more surprising, amazing part of Sneaky Get is you can keep moving after you foul. So your dirty player Sneaky Get, a line elf, can run in, foul the guy, kill him, and hide. So your opponent doesn't even get the counterplay of killing your murder elf. So it actually makes the Sneaky Get dirty player elves one of the best killers in the game, especially now that Claw Palm is gone. Sneaky Git, surprisingly good. S tier for Sneaky Git. J-Leave. Oh, you actually went and tested Safe Pair of Hands. It is just bugged. It actually just literally does nothing. It doesn't do anything when you're knocked down by block dice or even a failed dodge or rush. All right, well, the fact that you had to go test it and none of us knew that it's bugged definitely solidifies Safe Pair of Hands in S tier, or F tier rather, even if it wasn't bugged. It's literally just a blank right now. And nobody noticed. Yeah, the continued movement on Sneaky Git is ridiculous. I played with a Sneaky Git Dirty Player, Sneaky Git Dirty Player +2 Death Roller. And the being able to continue to move on that guy was ridiculous. Because you foul something, you kill it, and then you just roll over and base 2 other dwarves with your Death Roller. So he gets to murder a thing and then do his I have ridiculous strength and armor, tie up 2 other guys thing as well. On elves or goblins, you Sneaky Get foul and run away. On the Death Roller, you Sneaky Get foul and still move in and be useful. Right? Oh, Randy, you knew a Safe Pair of Hands was a dead skill. Rip Safe Pair of Hands. I think even when they fix it, it won't actually upgrade out of F tier. Diving catch. I think it's the same as it used to be. It gives you the ability to catch a ball that's landing next to you, and you get +1 to your catch roll on an accurate pass. So, it doesn't do a ton. I don't know if this is bugged, because you're supposed to be able to throw it like a square short and have this guy still catch it. And then in Blood Bowl 2, that was bugged. This is another one I'd be surprised if anyone in chat knew if it's still bugged or not. I don't think anything starts with it by default in Blood Bowl 3. That was a Keysliv thing. Best part of diving catch is catching bombs. Yeah, bombs are a big part of tabletop, right? But we haven't got them yet in Blood Bowl 3. It was bugged in Blood Bowl 2, J-Leave, in the sense that you could throw the ball 1 square short and essentially get +1 on your pass because you're doing a shorter length pass, and the guy would still catch it. But if it's an accurate pass, the guy would not get the +1 to the catch. So you're supposed to be a +1 to a catch on an accurate pass. And that wasn't triggering on... So you could still do the short pass to make it easier on the thrower, but then you're not making it easier on the catcher. So one use case for diving catch is actually as a pseudo plus agility on like a 3+ agility catcher. Can take diving catch, and now you catch on a 2+. But not handoffs, it has to actually be a pass. Diving catch notably does not work when the ball is just bouncing around. So if somebody gets pushed onto the ball and it's bouncing, that doesn't trigger diving catch. Crowd throw-ins will. Crowd throw-ins, kickoffs, and passes will get triggered. But the ball getting knocked loose or getting knocked around, a jiggling ball, diving catch doesn't help you get more than your fair share of attempts at those ones. So I think it's E tier. I like it better than Safe Pair of Hands and Leap because it does give you +1 to your catch and it gives you a little bit of utility. It used to go interestingly well with Hail Mary Pass, but Hail Mary Pass just got nerfed into oblivion. Hail Mary Pass is another unpickable skill in Blood Bowl 3. I think E tier. I think it's significantly worse than just having the catch skill, but it's much more useful than Leap and Safe Pair of Hands. E tier for diving catch. You don't think it could be worse than catch? I would rather have the built-in reroll than the +1, because catch helps on handoffs. Diving catch does not help on handoffs. Diving catch only helps on actual passes, which is a pretty big difference. Ideally, you want to be doing handoffs, not passes, where catch can still help you. Too many bad skills in this game. There's a lot of stinkers. I found that when I was new to Blood Bowl, one point where I started to improve my win rate quite a bit was stopping to experiment with all the fun-looking skills and just learning which ones were unpickable and sticking to the handful of builds that everybody actually uses. Does dive and catch help with interceptions? If they throw it inaccurately and it's landing at your feet, it'll trigger. But let's go to the client. I don't think it got anything got added about interceptions on it. This player can attempt to catch the ball if it lands in his tackle zones as a result of a pass, a throw, or a kickoff. Why does it say a pass, a throw, or a kickoff? A throw they must be talking about the crowd throw in. Moreover, he gains +1 to catch an accurate pass if he's in the targeted square. Okay, so this is specifically wording it that if you can't throw an accurate pass to the square before him and get that. So the bug certainly didn't come forward because the bug is now part of the game. But it doesn't help you with intercepts. It will help you if they throw wildly inaccurate. You might get to randomly get a better catch attempt. Yeah, Sparrow, I do agree with you. I'd rather be doing a 2+ than a 3+ with a built-in reroll. Because like I tend to take extra hand before sure hands on a Beastman ball carrier, but in this case, I think because the handoff doesn't work on dive and catch, the catch skill does get the edge. Ooh, we got another good one here. Jump up. Ooh, we're ending with a couple good ones. So jump up, particularly nice skill. It gives you an extra blitz. Let's go to the tooltip because jump up does a couple things. And I think it does bonuses even more in Blood Bowl 3. So when this player is prone, they can stand up at no cost. So you gain 3 movement when you were knocked down on the last turn. Moreover, if they were prone during their activation, they can attempt a jump up and perform a block. So that's the extra blitz. You can do an attack from the ground. To do this, you have to do an agility test with a +1 modifier. So 2+ for most pieces. If you have a dwarf with jump up, it becomes a 3+. If they fail, they remain prone, and their activation ends. A bit of a cost to trying it, but jump up's still great. This skill may be used if the player is prone or has lost their tackle zones. Okay, so I thought it might have had an intercept thing. It doesn't. Does leap have an intercept thing? I thought something had an intercept. I thought something helped with intercept that didn't used to. Oh, well. Clearly it's not jump up. So basically, jump up's giving you 3 extra movement when you're prone, and it gives you free attacks when you're prone. It's pretty solid. It used to be really good on piling on pieces in particular. So I think it's a little bit worse in Blood Bowl 3 than it was in Blood Bowl 2. It's probably in here with defensive. B tier. You're reasonably happy to random it. But it lacks the piling on pair. Oh, very long legs is the intercept helper. That might be what was in the back of my mind. Yes, failing the jump up is not a turnover. It just leaves your guy on the ground. So I think jump up is, yeah, B tier. I think it's still good. Is it better than sprint and sure feet? Probably. But is any killer actually going to bother taking it? You used to take it after piling on, or even before piling on so that you could take piling on next. It went so good with piling on. But is that the only reason it was good on killers? I don't think so, because you do end up getting knocked down a fair bit. Yeah, I'd say it's better than sprint. The free movement is good too. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's in there with defensive. Which piece wants jump up though? I have not seen a lot of jump up. Like, it's on witch elves by default. I don't think I've seen anyone really take it though on anything. Like a pro elf blitzer, would it ever take jump up? I guess it goes good with diving tackle too. It goes kind of good with diving tackle. I'm thinking maybe it gets lower. Nah, B tier's fine for it. B tier's already like C is good enough. It's better than good enough. Yeah, would you ever take jump up on like a biggin on an orc team? I guess the answer is no, right? Like, he's gonna get block, guard, defensive, probably dodge before jump up, stand firm or mighty blow. Like, I don't think you ever get there. Nobility blitzers might like it, yeah. I think that's where it's better. It's not a brawling skill. I don't think you're really taking it to do the jump up attack. I think you're taking it more on your War Dancer-esque things. Like a gutter runner with wrestle. Or dwarf blitzer. Jump up on a tree. Jump up. Yeah, removing the movement penalty makes it good on the tree. I think it might be C tier. I think it seems better than it is. I've like rose-colored glasses from piling on. With piling on gone, I don't know if we're gonna actually see very much jump up. Yeah, dude even said that there in chat. Is it only getting B because it used to be good with piling on? I think I've got some fondness for jump up that's tainting my my evaluation here. Oh no, but it's bugged for the tree too. You still have to roll to stand him up. Jump up doesn't clear the need to stand. All right. It still works with pile driver. Zagiti really wants pile driver to work. I was there with you for a while, Zagiti, but I think the pile driver ship has sailed. I think we got to downgrade it to C tier. Oh, is it all the way down to D? It might be all the way down to D. F tier because it's bugged. Do you think pile driving is a thing just not for dwarves? We definitely tried on dwarves here. It gave up on it. Pile driver on the death roller might work. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if pile driver is just unplayable. Death roller with sneaky get pile driver jump up. See, jump up, it gets him back to his 4 movement. Because the pile driver's so slow. But still, I'm putting it all the way down to D. I think the biggest use case for jump up now is like a fast ball hawk. It's like a gutter runner with wrestle, or a witch elf who already has it, or like a war dancer when they come back. If we ever get wood elves. When more of those pieces are in the game, it might upgrade higher, but I think like on a gutter runner, there's so many skills you want before jump up. I think it's all the way down to D tier. Now, if you look at it from randoming, though, if you look at it from randoming, I do think I like it with sprint and sure feet. Yeah, okay. We'll cut it in the middle there. Not B, not D. We'll put it C tier. Because I think we should frame it more on like, oh, I'm never going to pick it, therefore really low tier. Then everything just gets lumped down in like an unpickable tier. Where how happy or sad are you when you random it is, I think, is a better way to group the kind of the bottom 4 tiers. And also, if you want to say jump up, like the witch elf already has it. That's not jump up's fault. Jump up is still good on the witch elf. And a big reason why the witch elves are good is because they have jump up. So yeah, let's see tier jump up. And sidestep, not quite as good as dodge, but we're putting it like, I'd even put it ahead of diving tackle if we could kind of offset them. if they share the A tier, A plus for sidestep. Possible sidestep just gets S tiered, but you'd never see anyone take sidestep before dodge. But you'll often see sidestep immediately after dodge. So yeah, like I'll do slightly bad positioning and put bad graphics design, put my sidestep higher up in A tier. But yeah, sidestep is a really good skill for sure. Maybe it should just be S tier. Because if you look at it again from the random perspective, if you random sidestep, you're like, fist bump. A bigger fist bump than diving tackle. Yeah, I talked myself into it. So it's not as good as dodge, but it is way better than diving tackle. If you, again, frame it on the random perspective, you are absolutely fist bumping. Random sidestep. Sidestep's a windmill slam. Just because it's not as good as dodge doesn't mean it doesn't deserve S tier. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with this. We got dodge, sneaky git, and sidestep at S tier, diving tackle at A, defensive at B, and that kind of rounds up the only ones I would ever pick. And I think that's in the right order. And then for randoms, sure feet, sprint, and jump up are pretty good randoms. I guess sure feet and sprint you pick on your one turner. I just don't really tend to build them that way. And then we got catch down here, which is a nice to have, but a rarely picked. Dive and catch, slightly worse. And then leap and safe pair of hands, blanks. Essentially blanks. Leap makes you slightly better at doing things you don't want to do. And safe pair of hands is literally broken and doesn't do anything at all. And even when it does its thing, it's pretty bad. All right. Thank you for joining me, everybody, for this tier list video. If you're watching over on YouTube, consider subscribing. That helps me out a lot. If we can get that up to 1,000 subscribers, I can actually turn ads on, which might encourage me to do more YouTube videos like this. Or don't subscribe, and then I'll never get ads to put on these videos. If I stick to it, you get the benefit there. Anyway, my name is Mr. Page. Thank you very much for joining me for the strategy page on the Blood Bowl 3 agility skills.